worked.
It worked. How are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good. Nice to
I
meet you
definitely think
too.
it's my computer. So
Oh, no, that's okay.
I'll
I wasn't sure how to send the invite to a phone. I usually send it to an email, but it worked out.
perfect.
How are
Hi.
you? Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, we're finally doing it.
I know. I know. It took us a lot of tries. I know. I'm sorry for being a little bit flaky.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah, my schedule was miserable, so
Oh, I
right
bet.
back
I
at you.
bet. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, like related to being married to a firefighter, or
No, just like, so I don't know if you've listened at all, but the point of the
I
podcast
haven't.
is
No.
really, that's okay. It's to highlight you. It's to talk about
Oh,
you.
geez. Okay.
I know you're a fire wife, right? That's the idea, but
Yep,
at the same time, we are our own people. And so I like to just
that's
talk.
right.
That's right. So,
Yeah. Let's see. I am originally from Canada, so I consider myself a Canadian, even though I became an American citizen recently. I've
congratulations.
lived here. Thanks. I've lived here since I was 7 in the Boston area, and I'm a family doctor. So I do primary care at a community health center, and then I also do hospital work, like working with residents. So I am busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. That's where I did my residency.
Nice.
And so, yeah, busy, busy, busy
Yeah.
always. And have like, I feel like my part-time job is like scheduling like stuff because we have 2 kids. So I have a 8-year-old and an almost 11-year-old who go to school close to our house. And then, like, thankfully, parents who are close by, both parents and in-laws who like help us make our life run. But I feel like the manager of the life is
Yeah.
a big job. Right. Through the GI Bill, my husband is also back in school.
Oh, really?
So he's doing his, typical 24-hour shifts, and then also just is like, I think, he's one paper left before he finishes his freshman year of college.
Wow. So
So
what's he
we
studying?
are doing it. I think he wants to do architecture eventually, but right now he's just doing classes.
Yeah.
But it's great. There's like a new GI Bill. I don't totally understand it, but they are giving him a little bit of money and paying for everything, which
Okay.
feels great.
That's amazing. Where did you go to school?
Up in Maine at the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Right. And that's how we have our mutual person.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
You said you have an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old. Sounds like you're probably running a taxi show right now, right?
Yeah. When people always ask, like, what are your kids into? And I'm like, they don't, nothing. Like, we don't have time to, like, I mean, like, they're into things and, like, they're lovely, but, like, we aren't also, like, driving everyone to soccer and driving everyone to this and that because, like, literally it's not possible.
You can't.
Unless, yeah, no, I was like, I think I would need to hire a nanny to do that. And then also, I'm like, I don't totally have time to like sign them up. I'm like, oh, missed the rock climbing sign up. Shucks,
Oops.
like that's full. So I'm like, I'm not thriving, but I'm cutting back some of my position
Yeah,
so that I can, not so that I can drive them places. That's not the goal, but just so that I can like have a little bit of breaks. It's too much.
for sure. So how many days a week do you work?
I 4 days a week. I'm the medical director of my unit at the clinic. So there's like family medicine, pediatrics, and internal medicine. So I'm the medical director of family medicine. I'm gonna stop doing that because I'm just gonna do just see patients, which is still plenty of work and real hard,
Plenty.
as you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So 4 days a week, is it like an 8 to 5? What kind of, I mean, I assume you're there a lot longer than your actual
I
scheduled
mean, this is
hours.
one of the days I'm working, and here I am at home talking to you. So it's, but I'm gonna work till I'm working a shift at the hospital after clinic. So then I'm like, well, I work till midnight on paper. I said I had to go
Yeah.
home early because I just added it because I couldn't find anyone. But yeah, it depends. I would say like I usually work late on Tuesdays, but I'm precepting the residents, so I can like do some other stuff while I'm doing it, which is fun. And then Wednesdays like it's like realistically like 8 to 5:30. There's
Uh-huh.
no like if I get home at 6, I feel like I'm doing a good job, which is a lot. You see patients and then you're not like, oh, I'm just done. And
Yeah,
everyone
of
came
course
on
not.
time, right? It's real complicated.
That's never the
Um,
case.
it's never the case, and there's
Yeah.
always more to be done. And then, it's sort of flexible, but in general, I really only do like clinic on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, and Friday morning. But then the time is like meetings and all this other jazz. So
Yeah,
soon it won't be. And then it will just be like, well, I got my notes done. I
right.
guess I go home. I guess I go exercise. I don't know, but I'm excited.
What do I do with myself?
What do I do with myself? I'm like, it's still gonna be the funny thing is I'm like, look, and I'm like, that's still technically a full-time job. So like don't get too excited about all the things you're gonna fill your time with.
Right, but
Maybe
you're
just like
doing
make dinner.
or
Sometimes my
not.
kids are like, you can cook too. And I'm like, okay, rude. Yeah, they're like, wow, this is good. I didn't know that you could cook. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Is he a good cook?
Um, he's a really good cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the other day. So he's been on the job not that long. Like I was in med school when he was in the academy and graduated. So he was like a later hire
Hmm.
because I also took 4 years off. So he was like late 20s, I think, when he became a firefighter, which is pretty
So old.
so old, so old, big grandpa.
Does he do something other than the fire department?
He doesn't. Well, now
Well,
he does
now school,
school.
but before.
Yep. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, he never really like found the thing. So he's like adding details right now, which
that's great.
do the things. I think like the reason he's going to school is so that he can find a thing that he can do that is not being a firefighter.
Right.
I think he's just like, I'm getting older, and there's also points in the lieutenant's exam if you have a degree that they added in Boston. And like a lot of the younger guys like went
Mm.
straight through, they had their military service, they got their degree for free, and like his GI Bill was like really wonky, like something happened with it and they were like, oh well, you don't really have, it's like he literally like went to Iraq, and then they came when he came back they were like, you kind of like, so it was, there was something about it that it wasn't like obvious for him to do
Hmm.
school right
That's
away, like
absurd.
he's tried, yeah, totally. And
Hmm.
now he's doing it because he's like, everyone's a disabled veteran. So like, I'm a disabled veteran. It would be better if I didn't work with my body. So like an architect is sitting in an office or like something where like he can do an office job. So I think I don't know that he really wants to like stop being a firefighter, but he just wants to like have something else or be
Hmm.
flexible if we're like, let's move. And because like there's no flexibility. You can't just like go be a firefighter somewhere else. Or when you're a Boston firefighter, you feel like you can't because it would be a big pay cut.
Absolutely. I mean, they see so much more fire and so much more stuff than most other firefighters in this area. So
Yeah.
I understand that, but at the same time, I think it is similar in other fire departments. Like my husband is lieutenant in Natick, and if
Mhm.
he were to transfer, he would lose like he would lose the ranking. He'd go back to being a firefighter, which is crazy.
Even like they have to like go to the academy, I've heard.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, maybe if they're like, if he's like literally I've been a firefighter for
Yeah, maybe not,
20,
but
like 15 years, please don't make me go all the way back.
yeah, right.
But it's, yeah, people don't realize that you're sort of like stuck where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, you commit. It's supposed to be like a career-long commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What has your experience been being a doctor who's very, very busy, married to a firefighter who was also gone for 24-hour shifts?
it's so funny because I think it's just like all I've ever known, right? Like I've never had kids without this 24-hour life. And I mean, I'm also like a little bit of an introvert, so like, I like do some recharging. Like he's gone. I feel like it's like not awful for a marriage to have someone gone 2 days a week. It's like, well, I really miss you. Now you're back. I'm so happy you're back,
No,
right?
isn't
Like
that
it's
funny?
totally chaotic,
Hmm.
but I
Hmm.
think like there's something about it where I also think it's made our kids like incredibly flexible,
Hmm.
right? Like I mean, I used to do nights. I don't do nights anymore, but I do this like shift from like 5 to midnight at the hospital. So I've like
Hmm.
forever have missed bedtime at some point. So like between the two of us, we've just never had that thing where it's like, oh, well, this person doesn't know how to do this part of like life, right? It might look
Right,
a little bit different, but like you can put a baby to bed, you can handle everything. And we both can, like we both solo parent, which I think is different because probably some people just have like just the wife is solo parenting because most firefighters are men. I know that's not totally the case, but
yeah,
I'm
but
assuming.
generally, yeah.
Yeah. But we do it a little bit of both ways and then like lean on our parents a
Yeah.
lot, a lot. Like sometimes I try to work. If he's already working, I'll be like, oh, I'll just work too. And
Mm,
then like my parents are always wanting to see them. So I'm like, you can have him Friday night. He's working Friday night. I'll just pick up Friday night and then, you know.
Yeah. Will they
then I'm
sleep at
not
their
missing
house
another
or?
time.
Right.
Yeah, so they're like super flexible. They have like really close relationships with both grandparents and they're like happy to stay there and think it's fun for now until they're like older and they're like, I want to hang with my friends, but it's working for us for now.
Yeah, but at that point, maybe they'd be okay to be home till midnight by themselves, right? When they're old
Right.
enough.
No,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, we're like getting to that point where I'm like, oh, okay, so I have to leave for work. We're like out of our before school hours. I'm just gonna leave them and like they'll be home for like 30 minutes asleep and it's fine, right? Or like there's
Yeah.
like that like starting to have that flexibility is like, oh, this is great.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's really hard when they're younger, right? Like you can't leave them
Oh
alone
yeah.
for a minute.
I mean, my mother-in-law used to come over. I'd be like, okay, I have to like when I do a week at the hospital, I have to work 7 days and like it's 7 to 5. Now it's a
Wow,
little bit more flexible, but at that point it was like I had to be in at 7, which means I need to leave the house at like 6:20 to like park in the garage. And even though I like live in Boston and I'm driving to Boston, it still takes forever.
for sure.
And so like my mother-in-law would drive over here and be here. I was like, come over for 6:15, and she would be like, okay.
That's
Not my
amazing.
mom, but
Yeah.
my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Well, it's her son who's the firefighter. It takes a village, right?
We're
Yeah.
villaging.
We're villaging and surviving. It's what we're doing.
Yeah,
How
for
did
real.
you guys meet, you and your husband?
We met dancing at a reggae club
That's
when
fun.
I think we were both 21 at the time. I was newly 22 and he was 21. And so we met and like he danced with my friend and then we like the four of us, he had a friend and the four of us talked and we're from Cambridge and they're from Boston and so they like made fun of us for being from Cambridge for like a really long time and we are like whatever. And then he was like, you should come over to my Nana's house for like Sunday dinner
Oh,
and
that's so
or something and
nice.
we were like, okay. And then so my friend got his number and then I was like, oh my God, we should call. Or like I was like, he was so funny. And she was like, yeah, we're not gonna call him. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we went back to the same reggae night 2 weeks later, and he was there. Or he like walked
Waiting.
in, we were like, hey! And he was like, you never called me. And then we danced, and then like literally the rest is history.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, you've been
Yeah.
together a long time?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like a really long time. Over
Wow.
20 years. Wild. Yeah, married
Wild. You think
for
about it, you're like, it feels
12.
like yesterday.
Yeah, no, I'm like, how am I old enough to have done that for 20 years?
I know.
Done anything. The other
Right?
day I was like wearing a sweater and I was like, I'm pretty sure I bought this when I was like living with the friends that I was when I met my husband and I like texted them and I was like, remember this sweater, you guys? And they were like, I was like, we all had it. And they're like, no. And I was like, yep, you just don't have yours anymore, but I still have mine. And
It's great quality,
how
obviously.
am I old enough to have a sweater that I've had for 20 years?
A
Makes
sweater
me
that's older
horrible.
than your children.
I know, like twice as old. It's crazy.
Yeah. So when you're in the hospital, you said you're working inpatient.
Mhm.
What do you do? What population are you working with? Like or what department?
I only do adults inpatient.
Okay.
Outpatient, kids, pregnant women, and adults, but in the hospital, just adults. I don't
Okay.
like sick kids. They're sad.
Yeah, that's really hard for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I like
Um,
well-ish.
what about when you're outpatient, do you find that the majority of your patients are adults or you do get like a good amount of kids?
I have a mix. It's never as many kids like as I want, but I do prenatal care, and so like
Hmm.
when my primary care patients get pregnant, or if I do prenatal care for someone I haven't really known, then they tend to bring the kids to me.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
so then I like sort of wrap around the whole family, or I like have been taking care of someone for a while, and they're like, "Wait, you also see kids?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, can my kids just see you?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." And so,
Sure thing.
there's like a certain there's like a time frame, but it tends to be like a 2 to 5 year window where people are like, I seem to trust you now. I will bring my kids to see you, like
That's really
depending,
nice.
sometimes longer. And then it works really well for the 16-year-old who doesn't know someone that well. And they're like, wait, so you could be their doctor and then like not, they wouldn't have to change. And I'm like,
Right.
yes.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
That makes sense.
so yeah, I
MC.
love when I get like the whole family, when I have a little bit of everyone. And then they're like, can you see grandma too? And I'm like, heck yeah.
That's
grandma.
amazing. You must be such a flexible doctor. Like to be able to go from 0 to 100 is crazy. Like age wise, that's nuts.
Yeah, no, it's like a really good exercise in knowing a little bit about everything and
Yeah.
really not feeling like an expert in anything, which is
I'm sure
tough.
you
And
are
then I'm a
though.
DO, so I do osteopathic manipulation
Okay.
all the time too. That's like the other big part of my practice.
A friend of mine went to DO school in South Carolina and she was like, "Can I crack your back?" when she was practicing training. And I was like, "Yeah." So she cracked
Yeah.
my back and it was really easy. And she was like, "Wow, oh my gosh, I did it." And I was like, "Yeah, but like my back cracks just like getting up and sitting down. Like I don't
I like
don't
turn to the left
take
and it's
and it cracked." I'm like, don't be too excited. But I was proud of her for doing it. But
like
and now my husband always cracks my back and he's like, "Can you crack mine?" I'm like, "I can't." Like I try, he like picks me up and he asks me to do it. I'm like, I can't pick you up. I'm sorry. It just
my
doesn't work.
husband's always like willing to do mine. I'm like, no, you do it wrong.
You
Like
do
I'll
it.
do his, but like he'll be like, just like you need it, and I'm like, I have an appointment coming up. Like I don't want
There
you
you
to.
go. So you must have a lot of stories.
Oh
You must
yeah,
see a lot of things. How many do you speak any other languages?
I wish. My understanding of Spanish just from working for a really long time has been like not so bad, but I like understand a fair amount of Spanish. And I always like think I'm like, "Oh, I understand so much Spanish. Like I got this." And then I like hang out with people who are not speaking about their chest pain or their back pain and I'm like, "What are you guys
Yeah.
saying?" So I have a lot to work on. I can like speak a little bit, like
Yeah.
stick out
You
your
can get
tongue,
by a
take a
little
deep
bit.
breath, lay down, sit up. How are
That's
you?
pretty cool though.
Yeah, we use interpreters for a lot. We at my clinic we have a large Albanian speaking population, which I've picked up none. No Albanian. I know like one word. It's so hard. And then Spanish, we have interpreters too. And then what in the heck? Let me just look figure out what the heck that is.
Okay, sure.
So annoying.
Does your
Oh my
husband
God.
keep his we Natick
No.
uses bricks like they get the calls, the beeps.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah, he'll get calls while he's home and I'm like, "You're not working. Turn it off. I'm not interested.
Oh,
I don't care."
yeah.
He doesn't mean to. He'll be coming off shift and it's still on. And then it beeps
Oh,
and I'm like, "Turn it off." It's like a
no,
trigger of
in
mine. I'm
Boston
like,
we still use radios.
"Oh, wow, really?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Old
wow.
school.
Oops. Did your husband grow up in Boston?
Yes and no. He was raised here till he was like, or I think he was born in this area and then lived here until seventh grade, and then he went down to
Okay.
Florida
Okay.
and then came back when he was right before I met him, actually, like when he was like 20 or so. So he's like from here, but then took a stint to live in a completely different world, aka Florida.
Very different
It's like
experience, I'm
very
sure.
different. Yeah. He was like, we were like coloring states, and he was like, really? I did that like 3 years ago. So he sort of stopped being interested in school, understandably.
Yeah, fair enough. So what kind of stories do you have about some patients over and what are some fun things?
Oh, oof. Like they're not very fun. I feel
I
like
know.
it's like so sad. I mean, I feel like my favorite thing that I frequently, so I always work on the resident teams, and I always say to them like, "What? I've never seen this before," and they're like, and I'm like, "I know, inspiring confidence," but like there's so much learning that happens all of the time. Like I remember one awful story where a patient was like had a bony metastasis
Oh,
somewhere in his body, and like so we were trying to transfer him, and
okay.
so we were trying to transfer him, and like transfers from hospital to hospital are like impossible and rarely work, and he started to get confused and then got confused, stood up and like broke a bone in a
Oh,
really dramatic way. And I remember calling ortho and being like, it's broken. They're like, how can you tell? And I was like, mm.
trust
They're like,
me.
where's the x-ray? And I was like,
You don't
don't
you
need
don't need
one. Like you
one.
could see the bone is like, and the resident was like, oh my God, oh my God. It was like a Sunday, so there's like nobody
Oh,
around. And
oh, that poor person.
so yeah, just I mean, I feel like we take care of a really vulnerable population at a really vulnerable time. And the nice thing about the way that our service works is that the goal is that we're really connected to primary care, so we only admit people to our service who have primary care doctors in our
Okay.
system. And so we usually like ideally know them or have some connection. So like all of the patients who are seen at my clinic, if they have to come to the hospital, they come to me and then I can be like, "Oh, I can get them an appointment tomorrow. I can put their labs in." Like we can figure out how to like be creative about how to like get people out of the hospital sooner.
Right. That's really
And
cool.
how and like communicate with the PCP and be like, "Hey, do you know this family dynamic?" Or like, "Do you have you
Mm,
guys ever talked about end of life stuff?" Because they're looking at us like they've never heard it, but there's stuff in, so we can
right.
like sort of go back and forth. Ironically, I like haven't taken my own patients when they're admitted to the hospital. I always go try to see them, but I feel like they're never actually on my team.
Funny. Yeah.
There's lots of like, I feel like half the stuff we do is like trying to figure out how to make the system work in a way that it's not designed to work, which is like, sometimes I'm like, did the residents learn any medicine from me? I don't know, but did they learn how to like get a patient out of the hospital to a rehab in a way that the family, like, I don't know. It's not like sometimes I'm like, oof, this is not,
Yeah.
is this even medicine? It's sad.
Right. But it's interesting because you're seeing it from inpatient and outpatient.
Yeah, totally. No, I think it really allows us to, well, for one thing, it allows me, like, when I'm in clinic to be like, look at you kind of walking. You're fine. Like I can see like really complex patients and be
Uh-huh.
like, but I still don't have a reason for you to be hospitalized. Like I have a
Hmm.
really good sense of like why someone gets admitted and like when they need to be in the hospital and when they're not doing great, but like we can do this outpatient. And I think it's really hard when you don't work in both to know,
Yeah.
which I think allowed, like the hospital's always like, how come they can discharge people so well in family medicine? It's like, because we know that we can handle a lot,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
we know who we're asking to handle, it's us. And so, or, like, it's like, oh, well, we told the primary care doctor this is what we need, and we got them an appointment
Yeah.
tomorrow or the next day. And so we can sort of work within the systems because people have like really complicated lives and reasons that they need to leave. And it's always like, vilifying people for being like, oh, they always leave AMA, they're leaving
Hmm.
against medical advice, but it's like, well, they have like a cat and kids and stuff to do, and like
Yeah.
they have to go to court, like they've got stuff going on, so
Yeah.
we don't have to keep them in the hospital. How can we make it better? Yeah.
Right. Right. Are you happy doing what you do? Do you feel like it's what you wanted for your life?
I really like working with the residents and I like working in the hospital and I love primary care. It's like the system is so messy, but I feel like I can make it. Like if I can make the system work just a little bit for someone, I will like bend over backwards to make sure the system works. Hopefully in a way that doesn't like impact me. Like I also have pretty good boundaries of being like
Good.
I don't work at home and I like, within the confines of the workday, if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. And so I think that's one thing I really like because the system is miserable.
Yeah. I
Like
know. It's
whenever I try
crazy.
to access healthcare, I'm like, this sucks. And
Yeah.
I am doing it from a place of like extreme
Right.
privilege, right? I'm like texting a
Yeah.
friend to be like, hey,
Yeah. Right.
you're my kid's PCP. Can we come in?
Can you come, can you send them some
But
antibiotics?
I usually try to call and do the right thing
No,
first. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, this was
Of
so
course.
annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I also feel like it's a hard time to be in medicine right now.
Oh,
What are your
yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's like already looked up their symptoms. ChatGPT told me this. And also, like, Maha told me this. And,
Hmm. Hmm.
from every angle. I think that my job is easier when I'm seeing my own patients.
Okay.
And so I've already, you know, I've I have so I worked at a community health center for 5 years before I came to the community health center I'm at now. So 10 years total, give or take, of being a primary care physician. And I do have, I don't know, like 30 or 40 people that came with me from the other place.
Nice.
So, which is like the best. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've known you for forever. Like, you're 12 and or there's like, like 8-year-olds and I did the prenatal care of for their mom, and like so there's
That's really
people that
nice.
are like so like, there's no, it's easy, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing that's changed. They're like, well, I trust you and I want to know what you think. And not that like the system should be that I have all the answers, but just
Oh,
that, like that I don't think that like patriarchal system is good either. But I am not the patriarchy, so it's
right,
fine.
right.
But it's, yeah, I would say like if I was doing urgent care or seeing a lot of people, when I see people that I don't know, it's like way more complicated. And then I've also, I mean, vaccines are so complicated and like fraught these days, and people are making decisions in prenatal care. We're seeing a lot of people make decisions about like in prenatal care that really not great, or like more and more
Mm,
people refusing vaccines in prenatal care. And we don't, I mean, I have one patient who I remember she was really worried about. Her first kid had her first set of vaccines, maybe like the 2-month shots, and then she got onto the internet, and this was like 5 years ago. She got into the internet and got really worried about vaccines. Oh no, it's probably like 7 years. She's older now, but so she stopped vaccinating her kiddo, and I just like kept talking to her and kept talking to her. She's from my old clinic. She came with me to this clinic. Her child ended up developing autism. So
mm,
not related to vaccines, right?
yeah,
Because she didn't
she
get
was
any
vaccinated.
vaccines.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so let's
Now,
vaccinate now. And so now we vaccinate. And she
that's great.
vaccinated her second child. But like I think, I was able to just stay like, obviously I'm not gonna stop seeing you. Like, so we keep going.
Yeah, that's
And
hard.
eventually with that trust,
Yeah.
we get somewhere, but it's not like, I don't know. There feels like a lot of like contentiousness of
Hmm.
like I see a lot of stuff on the internet that I'm sure you see too, where it's like, well, you have to push your doctor for this. You got to push them for that. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like I'm not I
The
don't make
enemy.
the rules here. I
Hmm.
don't make the system. So like if I need to push something, I'll push it. But I've like had people who come in, they're like, yeah, so like I think you really need to push for labs. I'm like, well, guess what? We don't have to push because I think that
Here
you
they
should
are.
get labs,
Right.
right? Like we don't have to be on two sides. Like I'm on your team, right?
Yeah.
Like how what were you thinking when you made this appointment? Like
Hmm.
what do you need? And so sometimes even, it's just like partnering and being a human, but it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's
Yeah.
like
People,
push for an early mammogram, and I'm like, well, you can't because like I
it
don't
won't be
make those
covered.
rules. But like we're also the healthcare system is actually for everybody, not just for like one person, right? Which is like really hard. I mean, I feel like that came out with COVID. I'd be like, I really think you need this COVID vaccine, but I actually don't think you need it. It's actually for your grandma who you live with.
Hmm.
Right? And people will
Hmm.
be like, oh, it's not for me, it's for everyone, and like nobody is
It's hard
thinking
to
about
process.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's hard
oh,
to think
public
of like
health and
public
like
health.
the
Exactly.
greater good?
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I remember what I was saying before when I was like, that my husband is like the stereotypical firefighter because he's like
Uh-huh.
amazing cook, good with cooking with everyone. And it was that like everyone, I don't know if they ask your husband this or ask you this, like, oh, does he rescue cats? And he was always like, no, like he's never rescued a cat. But then recently he
Oh
rescued a
no.
kitten. And I was like, oh my God, you've done it. You can retire now. You've rescued a kitten. He said that like it was like the cat was in a tree and it
Oh
wouldn't
my
come down,
gosh.
and wouldn't come with, and like someone else tried to get it out and they wouldn't come, and he said that like he went up there and the cat was like, I'll go with you, and like like scratched the hell out of him. Of course he's like allergic to cats.
Oh
So I was like, now
no.
you've rescued a kitten and you can cook,
That's it.
so like we're good.
Problem solved. Stay at home dad you are. That's funny. My
Yeah.
husband has never rescued a cat, but one of the other guys on the shift did, and I think they did not let him live it down. There were like pictures of him holding the cat that they put on t-shirts, and it was just all over social media. It was just crazy. Like they love to tease each other that way.
It's
So,
like once a decade a cat gets rescued, and it's like
exactly.
make sure we like really dig into this.
Never let it go.
Never let it go. Totally.
So, speaking of the typical firefighter, or I should say stereotypical. So,
Uh-huh.
you are clearly a very strong, independent woman, F the patriarchy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he is a Boston firefighter. I imagine a tough guy. How does that go? How is he stereotypical in that way? Is that something he sees at work? Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh yeah. Well, so the favorite thing the like dynamic we have is I feel like I'll be like, rah, like going on a rant about something, like related to medicine or women or like
Yeah.
something, where I'm like sort of like being like, and this is why what everybody is talking about is BS on the news and all this stuff. And sometimes he'll like text me and be like, what was that thing you said? Or like whatever. But like, and so he like listens, and I think that, I'm like, I don't know that I'm really getting like, was he listening? Unclear. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. But then he goes to work and he's like schooling everyone at work on the
Nice.
thing that I was like going on a rant about. And I'm like, yes, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's a little bit of a plug, like, he's a plant, but he's doing strong work. He is
That's good.
maybe not your typical firefighter. Like, he's a I wouldn't say he's like the most liberal person in the world, but he's more liberal than most firefighters. And he's a black man in
Uh-huh.
a mostly white department
Right.
where Fox News is on all the time. And so he already is coming at it from like, you're all wrong and
Mm-hmm.
awful. And I mean, like, he's got like really wonderful coworkers and people that he really connects with. And I think he also like, I think it's really important to like know that humans are really wonderful no matter what their beliefs are. And so I think like there's so much like isolation and like bubbling that happens where people only talk to people who have the same beliefs as
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Hmm.
so the fire department is like one of the last places where you're seeing like lots of different folks be together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's awesome.
That's great. Do you think either of your kids is interested in either medicine or firefighting? Or is they're
Definitely
too
not
young?
medicine.
Not
Well, I
medicine.
mean, I feel like my daughter has friends who are like, I want to be a doctor. And my daughter's like, I don't. I'm like, cool, cool. I think they're just like, seems like you work a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I do. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, guys,
We need you.
I
So thank
I
you for doing
don't
it.
I feel like my son is probably not that interested in being a firefighter. Yeah, no, I don't
Mhm.
think either of them are like, we want to be like mommy or daddy. They're like
Right.
want to be like my son says he wants to be a marine biologist and my
Oh,
daughter wants to
cool.
be an engineer.
Very cool. I'm
So,
telling you, I think we should just train our kids to each do something like one can be a lawyer, one can be a doctor, one can be a dentist or whatever. And then you just like you have the in, you know?
oh yeah, some
You
a
never have
lawyer
to
would be
worry.
good. I remember like there was a few years ago my son was like, "So what person gets paid the most?"
No.
And I was like,
Hmm.
"Hmm." He was
Hmm.
like, or and I was like, "Well, that's not really how I would make your decision. Like it should be something that you like want
A
to
little more than
do and
that.
that you like feel passionate about or like maybe something that's like helps the
Yeah.
world." And he was like, "Hmm." And then like 2 years ago, he was like, do teachers make a lot of money? And I was like, nope. And especially not
Sadly.
for the work that they do that is so valuable. And he was like, I'd really like to have summers off. And I was like, you and me both, kid. You and me both. So
Wouldn't
think
we
about
all?
it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
like, is
they
it worth
like
it?
think of generally, like, I mean, my husband is around a lot more than I am
Uh-huh.
in terms of like picking up, dropping off, making dinner, doing like he's either all the way gone or he's all the way here.
Hmm.
And so I think that they think that like at least what he has some time. But so I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you're working." And I'm like, "So is he. It's just that when he's working, he's gone for 20
Yeah.
he's working while you're sleeping. It's not fair."
Right. Right. Why do I get punished?
Yeah,
Right.
it's always mom's fault.
Yeah. Well, it's life. Do
Yeah.
you feel, you mentioned that he's black. Do you feel like race plays a big part in either his career or your relationship? Or do you feel like, no, it's just what it is?
I mean, I think race plays a part in everything.
Yeah, of
So I'm not going to be like, we don't see color in our family because we see it all the time.
course.
I mean, like I think there's like parts of it that are like important in everything that we do, and then there's like plenty of times where it doesn't come into play, but it probably
Mhm.
comes into play like in ways that I am a white woman, so I'm not thinking about it.
Right.
And then my husband is like, well, actually, yes. And so I'm forever learning and,
Hmm.
and we're all learning together and, raising children that are black but quite pale for
Yeah.
and trying to teach them like what it means and
Yeah.
um
So in a
so yeah.
way, same as how you kind of show him, like your perspective as a woman, sometimes he probably has to remind you of his perspective as a black person.
Oh, big
Yeah,
time, big time.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And like, or, like when, it's really hard figuring out like how you want to raise children and like what your values are. And you learn a lot when you're, especially, I think, a young parent. And I feel that's gonna like rear its head a lot when the teenage years come. We're sort of like in the sweet spot, but like he had to be like, no, like our son is a black boy and
Mm,
he is going to be treated like
hmm.
a black boy in
Hmm.
school. And that means that his manners need to be better than any white boys. And I was like, but
Yeah,
yes, right? It's like you want it. No, but it should be fair. It shouldn't. Yeah, it's like, well,
but it isn't.
too bad.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like
Wow.
he needs to know. He's also like 10. Well, he's gonna be 11 next month, and he's
Hmm.
like 5'4". So he's also like huge.
Hmm.
And so
So
like,
people probably assume he's older
yeah,
and they
exactly.
expect
They're
more,
always gonna
right?
assume he's older.
Right.
And
Hmm. That's true.
like,
Yeah. My husband is blonde and blue-eyed, and I'm Arab, and very much learning a lot about what it means to be Arab in the US. And I'm
mhm,
very pale and light-skinned, and my kids are blonde and light-eyed, and it's just so important to me that I don't let them fly under the radar. I want them to understand diversity and to never
mhm,
let that be you look white. And technically, depending on what census you're looking at, they might be considered completely white, but like Arabs don't consider themselves white generally,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're half
You're
white, you're half
50%,
Arab,
then yep.
even though you look
Yeah, no,
it.
and like and you're probably like when you fill out those like when you fill out the like what is your child's race, it's like there's like mixed some things have mixed race
Uh-huh. Some
and a
don't.
lot of
Yep.
things don't. And then it's like, well, but they're not white. I mean,
Yep.
they're a little bit white, but they're not
Yep.
white. So I always yeah, I always say they're black
Yeah. Yeah.
because they
Makes sense. Do people ever like, do they look like you? Just a little darker, maybe? Do people ever get used
my
or assumed?
son has like blue eyes and like in the summer they are quite a bit darker than me.
Mm, sure.
I mean, they're very obviously not white to
Hmm.
me, but I'm like, there's so many stories. Like when my son was like 5 weeks old and we took him to this like Midwestern Canadian town that my family is from, and like the little old white lady was like, oh, what a beautiful color. Like they didn't see my husband, but it was mostly just that he didn't look translucent. And I was like, I know,
Hmm.
right? He looks so nice. Right? Like, because
So
like white babies
tan.
are kind of translucent, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
like they're like, he looks so healthy, like, but they like couldn't really piece it. They're just like, oh, such beautiful skin.
Interesting. Wow.
Like just with me.
Yeah.
And my husband definitely like, I mean, my son was like pretty pale and his hair wasn't curly yet when he was 6 months. And my husband always tells a story about being on a train. And like I was a resident, so
Uh-huh.
like my husband was like, putting miles on that stroller, taking him on the train, taking him to the bar, like do anything to make this kid stop crying. And so he was on the train somewhere, and this woman was like, "Oh, what a beautiful baby. How did you get to watch him?" Like
Oh,
sort of like, "What?" And he was like, "I think that woman never said anything like that to anyone else because my husband didn't sugarcoat anything. But she was basically like, "Why are you watching this white child, blue-eyed
oh,
child?" And he was like,
wow.
"This is my son."
My son.
Right.
Wow.
And I mean, like, I think that there's so many ways that families look and how children like can look, and even between children. So I think that like I haven't had a ton of experience. I've had a few where people are like, "Oh, that's your son?" Or "That's your kid?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but not a ton.
One thing I like to ask firewives, even though the point of the podcast is to highlight you, but what has been the best part of being a firewife for you?
So it's interesting. I remember like when I had this idea, right? You always think like you know what it's going to be like. You don't.
It's what everybody's been
Um,
talking about.
oh,
Mhm.
really? That's so
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Like I had this idea that, and I remember like going to his graduation, and I was like, I'm gonna meet all of these like women, and then we're gonna be like best friends, and we're gonna be like a family,
Hmm.
sort of. And that I didn't meet anyone that became part of my family at that day of graduation. Like I thought it was like gonna happen right away.
Hmm.
And then I like sort of stopped thinking about it, but like there is a really like I think there's like my husband's coworkers are not just his coworkers.
Yeah.
Like they really are family and like I mean like they're literally going into burning buildings and supporting each other. So like and I know that if anything ever happened, like whether it was related to a fire or not, there would be this community that's there. Even though they're not like I don't like have brunch all the time with these group like there's like really wonderful women that I see maybe like at the Christmas party and there's like, the kids' Christmas party at the firehouse and sometimes we go to dinner and like so sometimes we really don't see each other a ton, but I really do like it does feel like they're more than just like my husband's coworkers' wives.
Yeah.
So, right. And so I think there's like that sense of family really is true. It just wasn't maybe what I thought it would be. Like it's there and I think it's real. It's one of those things where like, you don't see your family for a while, but
Hmm.
you're still gonna like if anything were to happen, you like, I got your back.
You'd be right there. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That
like
makes
not
sense.
day
I
to
mean,
day, but
yeah. I wonder if for some people who, like you said, there's a lot of families where the wife kind of stays home because that's just the way the fire schedule is set up.
mhm.
And for them, they are able to make that community a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I
Meanwhile,
think some folks definitely like get together probably
yeah,
more than
right.
I
But
do because
you're
I'm
working.
busy. Yeah.
Right. And you have your own community at your job too. So
hmm
even though you're still part of it, it's maybe not the only community you have. So not all your eggs are in that one basket.
Yeah. But I
Right.
know that if I ever needed anything,
Of course. Yeah,
yeah, and like vice versa, if anyone ever needed anything.
for sure. What's
Yeah.
the hardest or worst part of being a firewife, in your opinion?
I mean, I just like really don't I try not to think about it.
Okay.
Like just the risk, right? And I
Yeah.
think there's like the acute risk. There's the like, oh, there's a fire and something bad could happen. And then there's also just the like, we don't know what you're breathing in, the
Yeah.
long-term risks of like, is your retirement not going to be hunky-dory? Are you going to get one of those like really weird, gnarly
Yes.
cancers that like one of my husband's coworkers just got diagnosed with some like really gnarly cancer. And it's
I'm
like,
sorry to
oh,
hear that.
this is the rarest, it's like nobody knows anything. And then there's this BS about them taking away cancer screenings for Boston firefighters who just passed. So there's both, I think, is the
It did
like
just
thinking
pass.
about it and not thinking about it. Or
Jeez.
yes. I mean, they'll still have the regular health cancer screenings, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I don't watch Boston or Chicago Fire. People are like, "Oh, do you
Oh
watch
no.
that show?" And I was like, "Nope, no, I would never.
Never.
I don't watch medical dramas either, except for The Pit."
Do
But
you watch The Pit? I
have
haven't
you
seen
watched
it yet.
it?
Is it no, is it good?
It's
Is
really
it
good.
worth
It's really
watching?
good.
Okay.
I feel like I like in medical school was like, and we're done.
Yeah.
Like I think like the last time I ever watched Grey's Anatomy was then, and then I never watched anything again. But The Pit's good.
Yeah.
It's
Did you never
pretty
watched
realistic.
House?
Yeah, I did, but then I stopped. Like I
Okay.
was like busy
Yeah.
doing all of this stuff
Right.
and
And your life is medical, and then you're gonna, or your
yeah, I'm like
career, I
I
should
don't
say. And then you're gonna go
right,
home
I
and
don't
watch
want
more
to.
medical. It's a lot.
Yeah, but The Pit feels different. It's good.
Okay.
Recommend.
All right. Awesome. That's great. And then I guess I'm not sure about this one because I know it sounds like you work maybe more hours than your husband does. But one of my
Mm.
previous guests mentioned that she likes to call it shift happens. Like she want it's a segment that we're starting. So what's something that has happened to you when your husband's at work where you're like, this would happen while he's on shift?
Oh, every fucking time. It never fails. Because
Okay,
it's
so tell me
still
one.
like, yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm the one that has, it feels like more responsibility, right?
Of
Like
course, yeah,
I
because
have
your mom.
patients scheduled, I have all
Yeah,
this stuff and it'll be like, oh, you're already at work and so has a fever. Like they only get sick when
when
he's already at work.
right,
Or like every once in a while the night before, but then it's like it's always like he doesn't have any more sick time and
mhm,
yada
mhm,
yada. So it's like so you're gonna go to work and I'm gonna figure this out. And then
Right.
I mean I'm like I have default made myself the person that brings him to the doctor's office typically because I'm usually like trying to get an in with someone I know or I know the questions that I want, you know. So
Answered. Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
have a little bit of a control thing on that. But if I'm like, she needs a strep test, just take her in.
Just take it. Yeah.
But you know, I do. They only get sick when he's about to work or is already at work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, 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 cool.
Right.
And
Right.
it's always like, oh, this really important meeting is happening right now. Cool, cool. My
Okay.
husband,
I'll
my
figure it
son
out.
like broke his leg
Oh,
at daycare when he had like a spiral fracture when he was like 18 months.
oh,
It's like a
geez.
kid sat on his, like I think someone just like sat on him when he
Yeah.
had his legs crossed. And they called me and they're like, oh, his leg, I think we need to take him to the hospital. His leg really hurts. And I was like, hospital? Like, I was like, is he bleeding? He's like, hospital. Easy. I was
Is he
like, I'm
conscious?
just about to do this. Like, yeah, I was like, that seems like a lot. I was like, give him some Tylenol, put him down for his nap. I just like, I'm about to go to this really important meeting
Can
and
he
like
wait?
call me if he's not going down for his nap. Awful, awful. You always overdo it or underdo it. And they were like, okay. And so then I didn't hear back and I was like, well, I guess he went down for his nap. And then I picked him up and I was like, I guess he won't really bear weight. I don't know, you will.
All
Eventually
right.
I was like, eventually, but it was like totally like 6 hour delay because I was like, I mean, I was like texting my friend who's an ortho and I'm like, so, you know, like what is there anything that I could like miss if I don't bring it in now? You know, like the limping kid is like,
Right.
you know, keep
Red
an eye
flag.
on
Yeah.
it, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But, you know, and then I
I
was like,
love
okay,
that.
okay, 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 okay.
All right. I'll be right there, I guess. I love that. You always overdo it or underdo it. And that's so true.
Always,
It's so
always.
true. Like 2 nights ago, our daughter has a fever right now, and my nephew and my niece both just had a fever followed by like the shits, right? Like diarrhea everywhere.
Mhm.
And my brother was joking. He was like, "Yeah, his daughter's jumping on the trampoline and just like poop is coming out, right? Like as she's jumping." And they all go to school together. So then my daughter gets a fever 2 nights ago, and like she stayed home yesterday because she has a fever, but she slept in my bed for the first time ever. I just want to say, like, I never let her sleep in my bed, but
Oh,
I
wow.
let her that time
Impressive.
because in in my head I'm like, oh no, she's complaining of belly pain and she's drinking a lot of water. But she hadn't had any water all day because she like just didn't want to eat or drink anything. And then she was a little thirsty. She drank like half a cup. But I was like, oh
Mhm.
boy, we're gonna end up in the hospital tonight. Like that's it. We're going into I think she's diabetic. Like she has to be diabetic. And then I'm reminding myself, I'm like, no, wait a second. It's just the stomach bug. Can you relax and just like let her fall asleep? And she always overdo it or underdo it.
Yes,
I love
I
that.
got a glucometer DoorDash to my house 2 months ago when we had
Didn't know you
the
could do that.
norovirus that was so bad, and I was just
Mhm.
like, but what if
Yeah.
he's in DKA?
What if? You don't know. You don't
And I was
know.
like, no one else would ever do this, but I was like, that's it. I'm getting a glucometer, and I'm just
You
like,
have to.
because I'm
I
not gonna
know.
bring them in. I like refuse to bring my kids
No.
in when they're, but
Yeah.
like, it was that
Yeah.
norovirus that was like the 5 day one.
I may or may not have asked my husband to bring a glucometer home from the firehouse, and he said no. He was like, I can't do that. I was like, okay, okay, okay. We'll
Well,
just
now
see how
you
the
know
night
that
goes
you
then.
can DoorDash them.
Noted.
Yeah,
I love that.
for all of
All
your
right.
health anxieties.
Last question. I know you have
Okay.
work and you're busy. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody going into the fire wife position,
Mm.
what would it be? And I kind of like that you haven't been listening because these are all new questions to you. I think some people who
Oh,
listen, they like come prepared. So I'm curious what you're going to
oh,
say.
I am totally, totally ill prepared. Uh, I would say like find something that you really like to do for you because first of all, you're going to be alone like 2 nights a week at least. And so that would be one thing. So whether that's like I get to read this book or I get to watch this show that my husband is not interested
Interested
in
in.
or like have the thing where the like you sort of have something you're looking forward to. So you're like, "Oh, I'm alone tonight, so I get to do this." Is one thing.
What's
And then I would say
what's
the
your thing?
other thing, what? What's
What's
my
your
thing?
thing?
Oh, I just like watch whatever crap I want or I can just like
Nice.
get in bed at 9 and read and do which
Nice.
I we just
Love that.
tend to like watch a show together when we're
Yeah,
together.
we do too. Yeah.
And so and then I think the other thing is like make sure that you also go out for you. Like do the opposite. So be like, I'm going out to dinner
Hmm.
and you're gonna, like have some sort of parity where you get to also be away
Yeah. Yeah.
in some way,
That's really great advice
especially if you
because,
don't
yeah,
aren't forced to do it. But
right. It's so easy to end up in that routine of like you are the primary caregiver for your children.
yeah,
And then, they're away and then that's just how you get used to it. Right. So
right.
that's
And I think like if you're already, I presume that most people don't then also like work like I do at night,
right.
but I think it's been really, I mean, there's a lot of like nurse firefighter. Like I think there's like 7 nurse firefighter dyads at my husband's firehouse.
Yeah. That's
So
probably how they
maybe
meet.
sometimes they do nights too. I'm not sure, but I would say like there's something to be said for making sure that they can do everything too.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
think,
that's just like a life thing, maybe not a firefighter thing. But I think maybe even more just because if they're gone then twice, then like the wife is always doing the
mhm,
things.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the firewife advice is actually really relevant for everybody. It's just that
Right. Yeah.
as firewives, we have to do it because it's just
Yeah.
more like it's more obvious the need to kind of
Yeah, yeah,
compensate,
yeah.
right? But
Right.
then you
It's
have
like
other
in your face.
couples. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Hmm.
But anyway, okay,
Yeah.
I lied. One more question. Top show, book, podcast recommendation,
Oh,
something, entertainment.
that's tough. I love reading and I read like an insane amount of books, but I
Just
never
funny because you
remember
have no
what I
time.
read. Yeah, oh, I make time. I
Nice.
make plenty of time. Children are like, can you play? And I'm like, no,
Nah,
I'm
I'm reading.
reading.
I'm busy.
I'm
Sorry.
trying to like lead by example. I'm like, see, reading is so fun. Bye. Leave me alone.
I love that.
Oh. Oh. I mean, well, maybe I'll just go with the pit because we already talked about
Okay.
it.
We did.
Maybe that's
We did.
lame,
Yeah, I
but
want another
I
one.
think that's okay. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Yes,
I'm not
yes.
going to let you off the hook.
I don't know what it's called, but I just started listening to this podcast that is like I'm finding really helpful in primary care, and it's like, what is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like 2 female physicians
Okay.
who like go through health fads and sort of like talk through them. So there's one on like
Ooh.
protein, GLP-1s,
Yeah.
perimenopause. And so it's like geared, I think, a little bit towards primary care doctors, but also towards everything.
Yeah. That's really
And
cool.
I'm finding it really, it's like a nice gut check when I'm like, well, I'm doing this. I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, cool, cool, me too.
Yeah. I knew
It
that.
has
That's
a
great.
like a fun little name that's I wonder if the antisocial doctors, that's what it's called. I just looked it up.
Oh, clever. Antisocial
Yeah.
doctors. Love it.
Yeah, so it has like
Awesome.
some relevant stuff.
That's great. Well, thank you for your time. This has been really lovely. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed being here as much as I did. If you have any questions for me or if you'd like to be interviewed, please reach out at thefirewivespodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Tune in next week for the next episode of Firewives.